Hello friends, and welcome to a very exciting video because today we are going to be finishing my journal, and I only have 3.5 spreads left. So I have a few things in mind that I need to catch up on and journal about, but then there's a couple that I'm just gonna wing it basically and see what spreads we end up creating today. So you should definitely grab your journal and join me in some journaling today, because I'm just going to spend the whole day journaling so that I can get this filled up, and then hopefully in the near future there will be a journal flip through and I will also be able to set up my new one. So let's just get started straight into the journaling because we've got lots to do. Our first journal spread today is going to be a memory keeping one. Now, if you watched one of my last videos, then you would have seen I went on a very autumnal walk and I saw lots of pumpkins and cute autumnal things. So this is basically going to be the spread to remember that day by. So I had like a whole day of Halloween activities. It was a bit like a date day, to be honest. So we went on a big walk, we saw lots of pumpkins, we carved pumpkins, we ended up doing some painting, and also went out for a nice meal. So it was a really fun day. So of course I need to journal about it and document it in here. I use my Kodak printer and my Instax printer to stick down some pictures of the day. I did a mix of both because it's near the end of the journal, so I'm not too bothered about things getting too chunky, and because it is also nearing the end of autumn, I have so many scraps of paper that are all in autumnal patterns and colours, so I decided to use basically a mix of all those scraps in this spread, which would make a really good base for the whole decoration. And then I was just planning on using some autumn stickers after that to decorate. And I also have this little cute pumpkin cat, which is a Patreon sticker that I got from Megan Wang Art. So I also have been saving that for a very cute autumn Halloween journal spread. On this day, it absolutely chucked it down with rain, and there is a picture on the little collage section where we basically went into this really deep forest to try and find some shelter, and someone had also made a little den out of sticks. So we basically went and sat in there until all the rain had passed so that we didn't get too soaked. And then on the way home, I also ended up getting myself a gingerbread latte because I'm not really a pumpkin spice girly. I think pumpkin spice stuff honestly tastes disgusting. I've tried many different ones and every single one that I try is just not very nice. So I usually go for gingerbread during autumn time. That's kind of like my go-to. That's one that I really enjoy the flavour of, and it always kind of brings me into the season. And then I also had these little pet tape samples left over, and they're really beautiful deer. I have no idea where I got these from. I honestly can't remember, but I am so happy that I'm finally using them because I feel like I've been saving them all year long to use in some autumn spreads. So it feels very satisfying to get them down in my journal. And then I'm just using some of the goodies from my big sticker release book, and all of the stickers in here are from Journal Say, and I'll probably be using a lot of goodies from Journal Say in this video, so I will link anything down below that I use, and if you do decide you want to grab anything, then you can use my code to get 8% off, and it does work with all the other promotions on the website, including all their big Black Friday deals that they have at the moment. And these little autumn butterflies are so great to just add little bits of decoration, because I am somebody that is very obsessed with filling pretty much most of the gaps in my journal spread. Obviously the writing is going to be in the middle, but I just like it to look very chaotic. I'm definitely more of a maximalist than a minimalist, and I am using these little letter stickers from my pen pal, so thank you to Hannah, because these are so useful and I love sticking them onto the little Polaroids because I just think they look so cute. So I just wrote date day, and then I'm also adding the date with my date stamp, and then I end up writing all of my written journaling with my carousel fountain pen, which is just filled with brown ink, and I usually just stick to one colour, to be honest, because I just get fed up of having to refill it all the time. So I find if I just fill it with one ink every time and fill it to the brim, then it lasts a very long time. But I am so happy with this spread. I think it is so autumnal and cute. And then the next spread that we're doing is a little single spread. This one is a very quick one. It is a reading spread. Now, the reason why I'm adding it onto this single spread is because obviously on the left hand side, that is also a reading spread. So if you are new to my channel, I put pretty much everything in my journal. I don't have a specific reading journal or a specific memory journal or a specific junk journal. Everything just goes in these inserts, and then once one is full, I go on to the next one. And that's basically how it works, and it works really well for me. I'm thinking of doing a journal ecosystem video at some point, so I can talk you through what I use and my plans for next year, because I'm going to be changing things up a little bit. So let me know if you would be interested in that as well. So this reading spread, you can tell by the stationery that of course it's a fantasy. It is a new romantasy series that I've started because it was on Kindle Unlimited basically, and it's A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly is the first book, and there is 4 books in the series. I've read 3 of them, and then number 4 comes out in December. And you know, it's nothing groundbreaking. It is basically classic, typical romantasy. A lot of the tropes are in there. But I don't mind that. I really love a classic romantasy. It makes me really excited. It makes me feel a certain type of way inside, like very giggly, and I just love it. So I am very happy to read a classic romantasy, and that's exactly what this series is. And there is also a love triangle, which I find really interesting in this one. It's definitely the main part of the first book, but then things progress as the books go on. But I'm very happy with this very quick reading spread. I feel like it gives off the vibe of the book and matches quite well with the other reading spread on here. So I still need to add the future ones at some point, but they're going to end up in my next journal. So this next spread is going to be a bit of a junk journal-y, cutesy inspired spread, and the reason why I am doing this one is because I had this packaging from a recent journal say haul which had some stickers in. I also have lots of scraps of very cute gingham and plaid patterns which I thought would be good to use, and then I also have this sticker pack which you can see on the left, which is also from Journal Say, and I've just been really dying to use it, to be honest, so I felt like this was the perfect time to use it. And I also had some cute tea packaging that somebody had sent me, I can't remember who, so thank you to whoever sent me the very cute blackberry tea. And I'm basically not planning on doing any writing on this spread. It's just going to be solely for sticking things down and having fun. So I'm starting with some vintage paper. I wanted to go with a little bit more light toned paper because obviously if I use like really dark vintage paper, I feel like it doesn't really go with the color scheme of this spread. So I used the more lighter, whiter one. And I basically just try and play around with the composition, see where things go. I tend to just start with the background and cover it up with as many different scraps and memos that I have. And then I basically then stick all the other bits on top, but it's more of a in the process kind of decision making situation. I don't plan it out before, I just kind of figure it out as I go along, and I find that way is a lot more enjoyable for me within my journaling, because I feel like if I didn't, I could sit there and take a very long time to make decisions, and I don't want my journal to be that precious, if that makes sense. So I just want to get things down. And I also have so many of these sun prints that I did in the summer, so I need to use them at some point as well. I have made a spread with them in the past, but maybe I need to use them up in another way. I had this gingham washi tape sample set which one of my pen pals sent me, and it is so perfect. I'm really obsessed with gingham washi tape at the moment. I really love it, and I wish I had it in every single colour, because I feel like you can just use it in pretty much anything and everything. So I maybe need to get some in the future. I also really like having gingham paper as well, so if you can't tell, gingham is my favourite pattern. It's just so cute. And once I'd stuck down all the background, then now I could start to add a little bit more depth to the spread and think about where my pieces of junk are going and where I'm going to be adding stickers and things like that. I decided as well to use these stamps because they are basically my newest stamp set, even though I got them in the middle of summer, but I haven't used them too much, so I figured this would be a great opportunity to use them. And because they are almost very whimsical and fairy tale-y, I thought they'd go quite nicely with the colour palette of this one. So I just grabbed some of my favourites and stuck them down in some of the areas that didn't have too much pattern going on, so obviously they would stand out a little bit better. And then I'm using double-sided sticky tape for the little bag, and I was thinking I could have used it as like a flip out, but I didn't really have anything to put on the flip out, so I didn't want to do it for the sake of it, which is why I ended up snipping it and just sticking it down onto the spread instead. But yeah, I could have definitely have used the T as a pocket and made it a little bit more interactive, but because I didn't have much to say on this spread, I didn't feel like it was something that was needed. So I'm now just picking out some of my favourite stickers to use, and all of these are so cute. I'm thinking of getting some of the different designs in my next journal say haul because these are just adorable and I love the textured textile effect. So I'm using some of the button stickers and then the little heart as well, because I felt like it went with the cute pinksy things. I basically just wanted to add as many of these stickers on this spread as possible, so that's basically what I did. And even though this spread isn't the most seasonal, it doesn't really match the autumn winter vibes, I had so much fun making it and it just turned out super cute. So I also wanted to use some of my own stickers on here and just add some little extra elements. So I've got stationery hoarder and I've also got memory collector on there, and I am really loving these stickers. They're also definitely my most popular ones on the shop, so I feel like you guys are definitely enjoying them as well. So they are just so much fun to play around with, and I feel like they almost go with most spreads, especially if you are a journaler. It matches pretty much anything that you make. And then I'm just using the stars that I have left over on this sticky sheet to just add a little bit more. And then I also have this really cute bow pet tape from Journal Say, and I figured it would honestly go so perfectly with all the other stationeries in this spread. So I'm just using it to fill in any little spaces where I can squeeze them in basically, and they all go with the colour theme really nicely too. So I feel like they just add a little bit more of a cutesy element to this spread. But I really love this. I had so much fun making it, and just looking at it makes me so happy. So you'll have to let me know if you like this spread too, because I think it turned out really, really cute, and I'm so glad I finally got to use some of the junk and bits that I'd been hoarding to add into my journal. So I'm sure I will definitely be doing more journaling with these goodies in the future. We are finally onto the last spread, which is kind of crazy. And I was thinking really carefully about what to do for this one. And I basically decided that I was going to use just some stickers because I have so many like big vinyl stickers that I just never use because I get scared of using them, and I'm just going to use one today. So first we need to obviously choose what sticker, and I think I'm going to go with the Maragona Silly Art one because I just have a lot in my collection and I feel like they need to be used instead of sitting in this folder. So I'm thinking maybe this one with the dragon and then doing like a bread theme, a random theme to choose, I know, but there's also this dragon girl in a bakery, which will be cute. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with this one. And because obviously it's the last page, there isn't actually that much space to fill. So I think I'm just going to use memos for the background. And then this will just go in the middle somewhere. And I also have this like bread washi, although I don't think I'm going to use it because now that I'm looking at the colours, I guess they do kind of go together, but this one's more pink. So we'll see, I might use that, but I really wanted to use this new washi instead. So I'm thinking, and I thought maybe all the like neutral colours would go really nicely. So I think I'm going to try and use this washi tape. I've done like a whole mix of things in the back of my journal before. So sometimes I put playlists on there. Sometimes I just add a random photo. Usually the pictures are of Ralph, can't lie. But I didn't really have any pictures to add in this time. So I decided I would use a sticker and then just figure it out after that basically. I usually just end up grabbing some things that I might use, but I don't usually end up using them all, but at least then I've got more than I need so I can choose. And this time I'm going to be trying to journal whilst talking to you, which I usually find quite difficult, but I'm going to give it a go for today. So we're taking a little bit of a slower, more natural journal sesh today. It's also really dark outside too, and it's not even that late in the day, but because winter is coming in, it means that the days are very miserable and dark. You'll have to let me know if there's something you put in the back of your journal, because I know some people have like little traditions that they do. But I just usually do a mix of random things. In fact, after this, I might actually have a look at the back pages of my journals to see what I've done in the past. I feel like that will be quite interesting. Also, this is a random thought. I always think, do people that don't do journaling think that journaling's really weird? Or do they think they're just like, why are these people just collecting bits of paper and sticking them down? It seems a bit random. I think I might try a bit of this washi tape, but we'll see what happens. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like I need something to just go down there. So I have this big box of scraps, which usually comes in handy. I've also been thinking lately that maybe I really should have like a declutter of my craft room, because I feel like my shelves just aren't organised the best. And as I'm looking at it now, I can see that some of the boxes and things are taking up a lot of space, but I don't actually use anything inside it. So it just seems like a waste, and I definitely need more space for pet tapes and things like that, because they are overflowing and I find it really hard to just find the things that I need. So I'm thinking maybe that needs to be a job that I do in the new year. So I'll probably be getting rid of a lot of stuff. And these washi tape is from Journal Say. I got it in one of my recent hauls and I really love it. This is actually the first time I'm properly using it. But as I said before, the only problem is it's not pre-cut, which is slightly disappointing because I really hate fussy cutting things out. And I know some people really enjoy it, like they find it really therapeutic, but it just really hurts my wrists and it's not something that I particularly enjoy doing. But I am really into these buttons and I'm a little bit obsessed with button stickers at the moment because I just think they're so cute. These like vintage neutral buttons always remind me of my grandparents, because when I was a kid and I would go there after school for like dinner and things, we would always play board games, and my nonna used to have like this big tub of buttons, like old ones, and that was what we would use as like the pieces in games. So you could like choose a button and that was going to be like who you would be playing as. Or if we played cards or something like that, then we would use the buttons as like currency. Instead of obviously playing for money, we would play for buttons. So whenever I see these old brown ones, it always reminds me of them. So maybe that's why I'm in my button era at the moment, because they're just almost very nostalgic to me. I am also planning on making some cute little unique journal charms as well with some buttons. So you'll have to keep an eye out for those in the future. But the plan is they are going to be just like one-offs rather than multiples. Okay, so I've decorated the background a little bit, but I feel like I maybe need to add something in the gaps, maybe like a stamp or something. So I might just look at my stamps and see what little ones we've got. I could add maybe some of these. These are like one of my favorite stamps. They are so cute. I always decorate my orders with them if they're going to the UK, because if they're going abroad, I don't have space for stamps because of the customs labels and things. But yeah, I love this little cupcake. It's definitely not a cupcake. A little cup stamp. So I'm just gonna put that in the spaces. I also don't know if to add the date somewhere on this spread, because I've got it on my first spread in my journal, but obviously then on my new spread, I will be putting the date. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it on because obviously I don't know how big a time difference it's going to be from when I do this spread to when I set up my new journal. I guess it's just whenever I end up recording the journal flip through. Okay, and then I just need to add the big sticker, of course. So I'm just going to whack it in the middle basically and I hope that it's central. And then this is this spread all finished. It is pretty cute, and I do actually want to look at the last page of my other journals because now I'm really curious. So I'm just going to quickly show you those. So here are all my journals. They are quite chunky now. They're really heavy as well, actually. So yeah, they look really satisfying when they're all together like this. So we're just going to quickly look at the back pages, literally just one page for each. And let me know if you'd be interested in like a video where maybe I show my favorite spreads from all of my journals, because I feel like that would be a fun video to make. So this was one I just did a little nature spread and added this Polaroid of me, and this was in March 2024. And I also added one of my stickers on the back. And then this next one, I really like the stickers of this one. The last page here is a little picture of me again. See, I didn't put a date on this one, so I don't know when this one is from, but this journal started, oh, I didn't put it on, oh no, I did, it's there, 10th of November 2024. This is another little fairy one. Oh yeah, on this one I put a picture of me and my grandma. So this one was April 2025, so this one's earlier this year. Oh yes, this one is a picture of Ralph. I knew I had some of Ralph somewhere, and I finished this journal on the 10th of November 2024. This one I added a little receiptify, which is basically like your top songs in a month, and it's really cool. It's a really good thing to add to your journal actually. So I just did that as a spread, and the thing is dated May 24, 2024. So yeah, this journal was from 2024. This one I did a little picture and did a very pink theme. I didn't put a date on this one, but I think this was my last journal. And I also added one of my stickers on there as well. So yeah, this was my last journal before the journal I'm using now. They're also not in any order on my shelf, which probably doesn't help. I should maybe organize them a little bit better. This one I added a little postcard on that one of my pen pals had sent me, and then I just did a picture of me riding my bike and did some decoration, and this one was the 13th of August 2024. This is definitely a spring journal for sure. And then the final one I think was my first journal, which is why it's got no decoration on it. Yeah, so this was my first ever journal, which is started in 2023. And then the final, there isn't a final spread. So I obviously was too scared to fill in this final spread on this journal. That's really interesting actually. So the last spread in here was October 2023, when I was journaling about the Eras Tour movie because I went to see it in the cinema. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, anyway, sorry for the sidetrack. Let's go back to what we're actually doing. So this journal is now finished, and I hope you enjoyed joining me today. If you did, then of course make sure to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next video, which will be a journal flip through of this one, and then we'll be setting up a brand new journal, which of course is always super fun. So I'll need to choose what sticker I'm going to do, and I'm thinking of doing like a winter vibe, but we shall see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. and joining me today. I'm gonna now go put all my journals away.